Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Trans India. Real people, real emotions. This week we bring for you two very important solutions for your transport business. We all know that road transport is a very challenging business, and as an owner or even a driver, you have to be alert all the time. आपके दिमाग में हमेशा एक स्ट्रेस बना रहता है, चाहे आप ड्राइवर हो या आप ट्रांसपोर्टर हो. One of the biggest worries for the transporter is getting his truck pulled up on the highway. आप अगर ड्राइवर के नजरिए से भी देखें, जब भी वो एक गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल या एक पुलिस ऑफिशियल को सड़क पर देखता है, उसके मन में एक डर होता है. क्या ये ऑफिशियल मुझे रोकेगा? ये मुझे किस चीज के लिए चालान करेगा? किस हद तक ये मुझसे पैसे लेगा? एक ड्राइवर हमेशा इस स्ट्रेस में लगा रहता है. This has now become a practice and no one has ever bothered to take up this issue. पर इसका एक पहलू ये भी है कि कई बार ड्राइवर ट्रांसपोर्टर को फोन करता है और ये कहता है कि मुझे इस ऑफिशियल ने रोक दिया है और इतने पैसे मांग रहा है. और ज्यादातर ये जो कॉल है वो आधी रात को आते हैं. ट्रांसपोर्टर के पास क्या ऑप्शन है? वो कहता है ड्राइवर को ले दे के निकल जा. बट ऐसे केसेस बहुत कम है. ज्यादातर यही होता है कि ऑफिशियल्स गलत पेनल्टीज इम्पोज करते हैं ड्राइवर्स पे और हजारों रुपए ले लेते हैं उनसे. लेकिन आप ये सोचिए, व्हाट वुड बी द इम्पैक्ट if a lawyer spoke to the official on behalf of the transporter or the truck owner or even the driver. अगर एक ड्राइवर को पता हो कि उसके साथ उसके ट्रक में एक लॉयर बैठा हो या एक लॉयर सिर्फ एक फोन कॉल दूर हो. Let me give you this example. Last week, 6 trucks of a prominent transport company were pulled up and the officials imposed a penalty of 15,000 rupees per truck. 90,000 रुपए 6 ट्रक के. The drivers called a helpline of lawyers who spoke to the officials and demanded an explanation for the penalty. Lawyers के helpline से जब lawyers ने official से बात किया और पूछा कि आप किस चीज की पेनल्टी लगा रहे हो, officials के पास कोई जवाब नहीं था. आखिरकार उन ट्रक्स को सिर्फ एंट्री फीस देनी पड़ी जो थी 1500 रुपए पर ट्रक. This helpline of lawyers is called lawyered and their service, lawyer on the spot or LOTS, is already helping thousands of transporters and drivers on the highways. In our interaction segment, we have with us Himanshu Gupta, who is the founder and CEO of Lawyered, and also Gautam Saraf, who is the Chief Strategic Advisor of Lawyered, who will tell us about their journey, tell us how their service is helping thousands of transporters and has already saved lakhs of rupees for the road transport industry. But before we get into this very engrossing interaction, let's take a look at another problem of the road transport industry, theft of diesel. डीजल की चोरी दोस्तों कोई नई चीज नहीं है इंडस्ट्री के लिए. इनफैक्ट इट हैज बीन अ हेडेक फॉर डेकेड्स नाउ विद नो सक्सेसफुल सॉल्यूशन फॉर द सेम. हाउएवर, Aditi Tracking has come up with a formidable solution to this problem. Aditi Tracking आपके लिए लेकर आए हैं इंडिया का सबसे एडवांस्ड फ्यूल मॉनिटरिंग डिवाइस जो आपको बचाएगा डीजल की चोरी और साथ ही घर बैठे आप रख पाएंगे नजर अपनी गाड़ी के पूरे फ्यूल टैंक पे. कितना रिफिल हुआ, किस स्पीड से खर्च हो रहा है और कहीं अचानक फ्यूल ड्रेन तो नहीं हो गया, पर किलोमीटर फ्यूल कॉस्ट क्या लग रहा है, सारे अलर्ट घर बैठे आपको मिलेंगे अपने मोबाइल पर. लेट्स सी हाउ डज दिस डिवाइस एक्चुअली वर्क. फ्यूल मॉनिटरिंग सोल्यूशन एक ब्लूटूथ सेंसर है, ना कि वायर्ड सोल्यूशन है. ये सेंसर आपके ट्रक्स के डीजल टैंक के अंदर फिट होता है और प्रॉपर कैलिब्रेशन करने के बाद आपको सही डेटा दिखाना शुरू करता है. इंडिया का सबसे एडवांस्ड जीपीएस और फ्यूल मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम आपको मिलता है अदिति ट्रैकिंग कंपनी से. अदिति ट्रैकिंग पिछले 11 सालों से काम कर रहा है और सबसे एडवांस फैसिलिटी दे रहा है. अदिति ट्रैकिंग कंपनी का ये फ्यूल मॉनिटरिंग सेंसर आपकी गाड़ी की फ्यूल टैंक की 99% एक्यूरेसी के साथ मेजरमेंट रखता है, जिससे आपकी ये चिंता खत्म हो जाती है कि कितना फ्यूल हमारी गाड़ी में डाला गया, किस स्पीड से ये यूज हो रहा है और अचानक से अगर ये निकाला जाता है या खत्म होता है उसकी भी सूचना आपको मिल जाती है. ये फ्यूल सेंसर जीपीएस डिवाइस से कनेक्टेड होता है जिससे आपको तुरंत फ्यूल में हुए राइज या फॉल की अलर्ट मिल जाती है. ऑर्डर करने के लिए या और जानकारी के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए डिटेल्स पर आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. एंड फ्रेंड्स, coming up after this very short break, our exclusive interaction with Himanshu and Gautam and how Lawyered is going to make life easy for the drivers on the highways and also the transporters sitting in their office or relaxing at home after work hours. Keep watching Trans India, real people, real emotions. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका ब्लेजो एक्स सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, वरना कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस।
सॉरी अजय, महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो है। एक्शन।
महिंद्रा गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका फ्यूरियो सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, नहीं तो
एक्चुअली जयो, महिंद्रा जयो है, थोड़ा चेंज है। एंड एक्शन।
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका जियो सबसे चल क्या रहा है यहाँ पे?
मैम, ये चारों ट्रक ज्यादा माइलेज देते हैं, चारों।
तो ऐसा बोलो ना, ब्लेजो एक्स, फ्यूरियो, फ्यूरियो 7 और जयो। महिंद्रा के ये सभी ट्रक्स देते हैं सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज की गारंटी, नहीं तो कर दीजिए इन्हें वापस। महिंद्रा, देश की सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देने वाली ट्रक रेंज।
There are those who drive India forward, no matter the roadblocks. They go the extra mile by taking the road less traveled. Continental Tires presents TV9 Network, Leaders of Road Transport Awards, inviting nominations from transporters, bus fleet operators, and car rental companies. Log in to www.tv9awards.com to submit your nominations now.
Welcome back, friends, to Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions. We will be talking to Himanshu Gupta and Gautam Saraf from Lawyered and know what Lawyered and Lawyer on the Spot is all about. So, Gautam, how did the concept of Lawyered occur to you? What was the thought process behind the same?
So prior to Lawyered, I was working for multinational companies in legal space for almost 10 years. And that company happened to be world's largest legal content aggregator. And during that 10-year stint, I worked closely with all the legal luminaries in the country, right from judges, lawyers, law firms, colleges, students as well. So I realized that there is a huge gap between the legal professional and the legal advice seekers that nobody else is focusing on. Plus, largely legal tech companies were focusing on creating solutions for improving the efficiency of legal works. So the consumer side was still unaddressed. So that was the time Lawyered was conceptualized, that create a platform which bridges the gap between legal advice seekers on one side and lawyers on the other side, and minimizing the trust barriers through knowledge and awareness.
So what is Lawyered on the Spot, or LOTS as you call it, all about?
Let me give you a very specific example to create a use case for LOTS. So imagine that you are a transporter, you are carrying, your truck is carrying an essential goods from Surat to somewhere in Kolkata, and in between at Yavatmal, in the middle of night, suddenly your driver is hit by a car with for none of his problems. And at that very incident, the cops come and they try to detain the truck. How will you handle that situation in the middle of night and at the remotest of location, Yavatmal? Now, there are numerous such incidents that actually hit the transporters left, right, and center. You know that this transport industry is already low margin game, and with all these costs increasing left, right, and center, the margin is further bleaking. Now, what happens in those situations? The transporters are left at the mercy of the driver or the local support, which they don't get, and there is further delay in providing them the support and bailing them out of that situation. You won't. I mean, there was a survey which told us that almost $28 billion are lost directly and indirectly because of these on-road legal issues like FIRs, challans, then what you call it as accidents, thefts, robberies, and all these issues happen at the remotest of location in nth of the hour, and the transporter has no other alternative than to pay up the money or suffer losses. The loss is not just in terms of the penalties, but also in terms of lawful or unlawful penalties, but also in terms of what you call it as the productivity loss, the time it takes the truck to stay on the road for a while. So that was the germination of lawyer on the spot or LOTS. So again, it didn't happen overnight. Gautam would also like to comment upon how it started. So we were working together in terms of how do we address this issue. And then Gautam helped us in terms of connecting us with India's topmost association called AITWA, All India Transporter Welfare Association.
How was LOTS conceptualized?
During COVID, COVID has helped us learn a lot. So during COVID time, the only thing that was plying on the road was trucks. These trucks were carrying essentials, goods, and all these stuff for the necessity items from one place to another, risking their lives because COVID is a deadly disease. During that time, we used to receive numerous calls from the drivers when they were facing these kinds of challenges, and suddenly the number of such incidents started cropping up huge on our platform. So I still remember one of the calls from a driver said, while you are helping us connect with a lawyer, so again it was purely an accessibility problem that we were solving. He said that I really don't know if the lawyer is right or wrong. I really don't know मैं उस lawyer से क्या बात करूं, आप ही कुछ बात करके हमारे को help कर दीजिए ना. So it struck us that okay, this situation has to be solved in a different manner. And जैसे कहते हैं ना, customer ही भगवान है. And that was the period when we actually looked at these set of incidents carefully and thought that it cannot be simply solved by accessibility. We have to come up with a solution which is a wrapper on top of it and gives it and is given to the community at large. So we engaged with Gautam and he was excited with what our solution is. But again, he was challenging us. It can't be done given the length and breadth of the country and the way the transport industry is so unstructured. So if you closely relate to it, when the vehicle goes on the road, there are two sets of problems it faces. One is technical breakdown, which has been handled by roadside assistance for years, almost 2.5 decades. But what about these on-road legal issues? Why has not anyone been able to look at that this is a big problem, especially for the transport industry? That was the time when we looked at what will it take to solve it. We had the awareness, we had the access. Why can't we take it up upfront and come up with a solution which is specifically solving this particular transport industry problem? Gautam came. We created some solution at that time, which right now we feel was a very, very nascent stage. We met AITWA, then AITWA's Mr. Singla ji, who's the CEO of AITWA, and President Mr. Mahendra Arya ji and Abhishek ji. They liked it, but they helped us in terms of tweaking it. We did 5 months of trial for them, solving 289 cases, and then realized that okay, these are the things that we need to provide if we have to make it as a useful solution for the industry at large. That was the time when LOTS was conceptualized, created, and formally launched in September last year.
Gautam, what was the thought process behind LOTS, especially choosing trucks as a target audience? Also, how significant is the association with AITWA?
Yeah, actually, it all started with the concept that, as the concept of lawyer is, empowering everyone legally. So it all started as a concept that how do we actually empower or help these people on the road, irrespective of the place and irrespective of the vehicle. So we were just churning on this process, and it just struck to us at the thought that the largest vehicle movement in the country is transport, logistics. So let's address the larger issues, and the smaller ones and the retail cars and the consumers' cars can follow. So there was a lot of brainstorming, and we're very, very thankful to AITWA, with whom we've been very, very closely associated now. Endlessly they've supported us. So with that, the concept was born, and then we churned on it, brainstorming, endless sessions, and then, here it is.
To add one thing, AITWA knew that the problem is unsolved, it's universal, but they did not take us instantly. So we did about 5 months of POC.
5 months
Almost
plus.
5 months plus trial, solved about 289 incidents during the trial. It not only helped us in terms of position our value proposition of the product, but it also helps us in fine-tune the services for the larger masses, and of course gain a lot more confidence. It was only after this trial of about almost 5-6 months that in September last year we've created the on-road legal assistance solution specifically for goods and transport industry under the umbrella of ITWA, and the product was named as Lawyer on the Spot, which is LOTS.
Road transport has always been a difficult space to be in, be it a transporter or a driver or even a lawyer for that matter. Did you guys have any idea of what you're getting into, or did it come as a shock?
Oh, no, it's a shock every day. It's a shock every day.
So it's it's an unstructured market. Just to give you a background about Lawyered, I mean, the whole concept of Lawyered hinges around the triple A, as we call it, which is awareness, accessibility, and affordability. So we started off with creating an awareness platform, and then we created an accessibility by creating a strong network of 50,000 plus lawyers pan India, covering almost 95% of the PIN codes of the country. But then also we realized that though lawyers are accessible, but still how do we minimize the trust barrier between the two further? There we needed to create certain affordable solutions. Lots were germinated as we just spoke about, but yes, it's a different ballgame altogether because it is an unstructured market. Issue can happen any place, anywhere, at any time. Yeah, and but the whole objective of LOTS hinges around to minimize the productivity loss of the transporter by providing them through awareness, access, and affordability.
So how does LOTS work? What's the process like?
Okay, so we gave an example of the truck being hit by a car in the middle of the night. So let's take that example only. Now in that situation, without LOTS being in picture, imagine the transporter would have gotten a call from the driver at 2 a.m. and he would have roped in someone and he would have tried to reach out to the official, and I'm sure he would have taken another day or two to reach to that particular place. Carrying perishable goods further adds to his misery, and he would have lost almost 3-4 days, and by the time he would have either settle or pay up some penalty for lawful or unlawful penalty, that is debatable. Now if he has LOTS subscription, all he is expected to do is his driver calls us in the middle of the night through 24/7 helpline. Our in-house team of lawyers speaks with the officials first, try to salvage the situation, understanding the legality involved in the matter. As I said, 90% of the situations are solved by on-call legal support. In this particular case, which is a live case as it happened, within 2 business hours, our team engages on local on-the-ground support. Lawyer comes in the next 2 business hours, he's able to file the FIR with the local police station, and the truck is back on the road in total of 4 hours itself. Now, 2 levels of support we're talking about. One is on-call support, 24/7, legal support, and the second is on-the-spot representation, which has been made possible through our 50,000 plus network, verified lawyers specialize in these kinds of issues on the road, available in every nook corner of the country.
It has always been seen that drivers are abused and often beaten up on highways. However, having a lawyer on call, how important is that, not just in terms of help, but also in boosting the confidence of the driver?
Basically what happens, it's a very gradual process. Once these transporters were getting on board and they start getting a confidence into our line of mechanism, so gradually they become trained, they become confident that yes, there is not only the company backing them, there is a legally empowered team behind them. So when that happens, a very, very straight example, cannot name the company right now, one of the big top 10 in the country, the driver would reach out to us, he reached out to us with the confidence that there is a legal guy on the other side of the call who's standing behind my back. There's a lot of resistance by the authorities, no, we will not talk to the lawyers and all that. Anyhow, as we say, gradually he called up our lawyers to talk to them. The moment they say I'm an advocate, the guard goes down. And then the thing gets rolling. So once that confidence gradually seeps in, so these drivers, their agony is taken care of, they are feeling more empowered, more confident, and the life becomes better. The journey becomes better.
Yeah. Just to add to it, imagine the confidence that a driver will have if he has a lawyer sitting next to him in his entire journey. That's the kind of support that we provide, and that's a promise that we have through this product to every single customer of ours, that no matter what, no matter where, we have the legal support of this particular product, and it actually synergizes with our mission statement, which is empowering you legally.
There are also cases, where drivers are involved in some wrongdoings. So in such cases, do drivers get in touch with you, or is it actually turning out to be a hindrance for them to get involved in any wrongdoing?
See, our prime business is to empower the customers legally, right? And if there is any unlawful activity that is happening on the grounds, whether it is somebody who's impersonating as a official, RTO official or a police official, or anybody tries to extract any kind of money from the transporter, be it the driver himself, the product comes in support as a savior. We have solved numerous, you'll be surprised to know, we have solved numerous instances where the driver was trying to impersonate someone to get some petty cash from the transporter. But it's just that when the message goes from top to down, when the transporter says that in any such situation, don't call me, call the LOTS helpline first and then tell me. And it's a recorded line, every information gets recorded. So even the driver themselves try to not to challenge situations in those situations.
So you're actually helping both ends of the spectrum in a way.
See, it is ultimately the driver is also equipped. He will be focusing on doing his business, and it is for their own benefit. Imagine the plight of drivers on the road. I mean, when they are stopped by officials, they are beaten for no reasons. I mean, I'm not endorsing that. I'm not citing that for any reason. But it's a situation that is everybody is aware of. So in those situations also, the driver knows that this particular product, this particular helpline is going to save me in the nick of the time.
Well, friends, we have seen what LOTS is all about and how it aims to help the transporters. But what are the figures? How many cases has LOTS attended to, and what have been the savings for this industry? We'll continue this interaction on the other side of this break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका ब्लेजो एक्स सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, वरना कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस।
सॉरी अजय, महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो है। एक्शन।
महिंद्रा गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका फ्यूरियो सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, नहीं तो
एक्चुअली जयो, महिंद्रा जयो है, थोड़ा चेंज है। एंड एक्शन।
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका जियो सबसे चल क्या रहा है यहाँ पे?
मैम, ये चारों ट्रक ज्यादा माइलेज देते हैं, चारों।
तो ऐसा बोलो ना, ब्लेजो एक्स, फ्यूरियो 7 और जयो। महिंद्रा के ये सभी ट्रक्स देते हैं सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज की गारंटी, नहीं तो कर दीजिए इन्हें वापस। महिंद्रा, देश की सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देने वाली ट्रक रेंज।
There are those who drive India forward, no matter the roadblocks. They go the extra mile by taking the road less traveled. Continental Tires presents TV9 Network, Leaders of Road Transport Awards, inviting nominations from transporters, bus fleet operators, and car rental companies. Log in to www.tv9awards.com to submit your nominations now.
Welcome back to Trans India, real people, real emotions. We are in conversation with Himanshu Gupta and Gautam Saraf from LOTS. So guys, how many cases would you have attended to so far, and what would be the estimated savings due to loss? Do you have any count of that?
Well, the numbers that the team shared with me last week, there were about 5,000 odd incidents that we have already handled. And when we tried to ascertain the money saved for the transporters, the direct money saved in terms of penalty is over 45 lakhs. This is the direct money saved. So we are not counting the money, opportunity money that they would have saved in terms of the vehicle not being detained for days altogether.
So on an average, how many calls do you attend to every day?
Well, that's we get nearly about 60-70 calls a day at this moment. And since the helpline number is the main contact number for everybody to reach out to us, that's why there's a higher traffic. But very soon we are going to launch a mobile application solution also that will equip the driver to click an SOS button, and automatically his location and the few basic questions can be taken as an input from the driver, and it will be multilinguistic as well.
What are the most common complaints that you receive from the drivers?
60-70% are largely related to challans and RTOs, and when they are not aware of what kind of challan they are being asked for.
Okay, what is the usual reaction of the cop or the official on the other end of the line when he hears he's talking to a lawyer? What's the reaction like?
They tend to avoid talking. So we have seen the growing. Initially, it was very difficult for the team to salvage the situation when the official who is trying to hold or detain the truck is not ready to talk. So in those situations, the team figured out a way by which they can either reach top to down or put up on a speaker. But yes, the moment the official is not cooperative, the team gets to know that it could be an unlawful activity and at all. And but yes, they are able to maneuver the situation.
Himanshu, the rules and laws associated with road transport are not just typical but very vast as well. How equipped are your lawyers to handle these cases, and what kind of training has been given to them?
See, our in-house team has been trained not just for the road transport laws, Motor Vehicles Act and all the related GST laws, etc. That's the technical skill that they need to acquire. Along with that, they're also trained on certain soft skills, which are necessary for them to negotiate in the situation. When I say negotiate, it is largely in terms of the legal terms, legal parlance, not in terms of any unlawful thing. And the lawyers that we have on board, of course, they are impaneled, keeping these particular issues at hand only. Plus, in the 5,000 plus incident that we have handled, we also know what kind of issues are coming up over and over again. So that actually helps us create a knowledge base internally, which is generally being referred in a similar situations.
So as you would know, of late many transporters have been facing issues due to the e-way bill, and the penalties for any error runs into lakhs of rupees. Is LOTS handling such cases?
See, I'm not going in much detail, Girish, but one thing I would like to add, see, AITWA is working very strongly, very closely with the Government of India. Mr. Abhishek Gupta, the Secretary, just recently mentioned that they've got a new notification which helps in differentiating between a planned omission or an error for which the government is looking, because it's a draconian law and it's 200% penalty.
Yeah.
So they're working on it, and gradually it has to, the way AITWA and the other organizations with your channel now is working around with it for the government, I'm sure there'll be a rationale to it wherein only the genuine ones will be penalized. There'll be a discretion wherein the flexibility could be exercised. So this is again a process, but yes, with the knowledge base that we have, and whenever there's an unlawful situation, that is where our team could guide them properly कि भाई ये एक्चुअल है और ये नहीं है. और कई बार उस अथॉरिटी से बात करके एक्सप्लेन करने से कुछ इंस्टेंसेस में ऐसा भी हुआ है कि उन लोगों ने जेन्युइनिटी समझी है और वो उतनी कंसिडरेशन करी है.
So we have GST officials also on our platform, and now, as I mentioned, through the knowledge base that we are creating, there are quite similar incidences also coming up. So the team knows if there is any caveat through which we can help the transporter avoid a huge penalty by citing certain existing precedents, which has been recently called out in the court. So that can help the transporter, because he would never know a similar situation, a similar case which have been handled earlier. So that's where Lawyered in terms of and AITWA are helping transporters through this product.
So there have been a few judgments where heavy penalties on transporters have been overturned by courts because of minor errors. Now, if a transporter wishes to go to court, will lawyers be available to represent their case?
Yes, we do that. So that's what we provide in the level 2 support. The on the ground support of lawyer is not just in terms of being present in the crisis situation, but they also are hired to file a litigation in the court. So that is again at the choice of the transporter, but they are completely guided by our team in collaboration with ITWA that in terms of the legal complexities involved, they stand a chance, and of course they don't mind taking a help in filing a suit in the court of law to get their rights for their rights.
What are your future plans from here on?
So LOTS itself is a huge animal. I mean, we never thought that it will be. It itself has about 4-5 years of projections in terms of reaching out to the length and breadth of the transport industry itself. But yes, with the help of ITWA, we are reaching out to all the nooks and corners of the country. LOTS as the product is on-road legal assistance. We are also launching it for the private vehicles too, or I would say non-transport vehicles, which includes cabs, buses, and even the passenger cars and private vehicles too, especially for the last mile delivery companies where it's time sensitive for them, likes of Zepto, where they have to deliver in just 10 minutes. So it is all the more important for them that they are legally equipped when they are stopped on road for any lawful or unlawful incidents. Apart from LOTS, the Lloyd's vision is towards creating now affordable solutions. While we have created a platform where we are already providing awareness and accessibility, affordability is the third chapter that we are currently focusing on. Creating affordable solutions not just for transport industry but also for startups, SMEs, and individuals as well. So that's something that we are currently focusing on. Many more exciting things are going to come from Lloyd.
Are you considering talking to the customers also, that is the consignor and the consignee, so that they can also insure the trips carrying their material against any such instances that would occur on the road?
See, as of now, LOTS platform aims at providing solution for the vehicle which is transporting the goods. Now, it is generally the transporter which carries the good, but your point is right. Even the consignor or the shipper also needs to ensure that the goods reaches from point A to point B in time. So we are also tying up with some certain marketplaces which are working towards as an enabler between the shipper and the transporter, taking away their pain. So we are trying to equip them with this kind of solution. Rather than giving it for per truck, we are securing their trips, because for a marketplace, the number of trips is going to be huge, massive, because they don't own trucks. Right. So that's where our subscription for marketplaces or third-party logistics players which don't own trucks is for per trips.
Finally, what is the vision of LOTS?
One thing I wanted to add, as you mentioned, that what is kind of a vision you look at LOTS. So as we and the whole team discussed, LOTS, because it seems like a very unfathomable kind of thing. We want to create a universe wherein a vehicle, from the point it starts to the point it reaches its destination or whatever, it is secured. Right. In terms of legality, in terms of support, which is a very large term in itself, and in terms of so many other helps that they require en route. So we are working on the solutions. I'm sure next time when we meet, we'll be discussing a few more additions that we've done. So we are still at the baking stage with them.
Yeah. And to end the conversation, I think I would like to point that while this solution is to ensure that the productivity losses faced by the transport industry are managed and salvaged, but there is more to it. When I say more to it, the drivers on the road are at the bottom of the pyramid, and they are much more in a brutal conditions. If we compare the truck drivers in developed nations like US, Canada, UK, etc., it's a profession by choice, and they get all the respect, and they get all the desired required money, and there is complete work-life balance. But cut to, if you talk about the drivers in India, they are in a miserable situation, and they are suffering not just in terms of there is no work-life balance, for days altogether. They are on the roads, and money they get. I mean, I really don't think so. They get significant amount of money as a compensation for the time that they invest. Plus, to top it all, they don't get respect. On the roads, they're always at the mercy. They are being beaten. There have been several instances when they are beaten, when they don't stop for any lawful or unlawful reasons. So they are at the mercy of in every situation. So the product LOTS aims at giving and providing, getting their respect back, and probably creating an environment where they can do their work respectfully. And we can also, I don't know, maybe years later, it becomes a profession by choice for many individuals too, tier 2, tier 3 towns. Yes, of course, we would like to thank IATWA for entrusting our vision and helping us in terms of our journey towards empowering the goods and transport industry legally.
Well, friends, that's it from Trans India this week. As we told you, this week we have brought for you two very unique solutions. One that helps you on the highways and one that helps you keep track on the amount of diesel that is being consumed in your truck. If you want to get in touch with Lawyered or with Aditi Tracking, you can see details in the description section below. See you again next Sunday with another very interesting interaction. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions. Until next week, stay safe. Jai Hind.